The 90s were full of great rivalries. In this video, you will hear from the players involved in one of the best. That rivalry was the Knicks and the Bulls. This was a rough and tough series every time these two teams went at each other. The only bad thing for the Knicks that prevented them from beating the Bulls with Michael Jordan on the squad was that MJ was prepped for the beatings during his Piston bad boy battles. At the end of this video, I will include a link to another video of the bad boy Pistons sharing their opinions on MJ. Some will surprise you. Now back to the Knicks and the Bulls. I looked around as much as I could and I was able to find some interviews with Chicago players and the New York Knicks players talking about that rivalry. So no more waiting, and here we go. Enjoy.
Now against the Bulls, you guys were really physical. Anybody that comes to your lane, you're throwing them on the ground. I mean, you just can't allow this guy to score against you, especially on a dunk. All right. Now, did Pat Riley tell you guys, be Knicks basketball, be physical? I don't care, just get a dunk. Was he like that?
It was a war each and every night. We didn't say, oh, we got to play harder against the Bulls than we got to play. We played hard every night. That's why New York fans to this day embrace us in the 90s Knicks, the whatever. And it's the early 90s, it's not the late one. But anyway, they embrace that because one thing about New York fans is they know basketball. I've been to other stadiums and a guy might knock me over and I flip 3 times and the ref call a foul and the crowd boos. I mean, you don't know basketball. It's a foul is a foul. New York respected basketball, and what they did respect was effort, and that's what we gave night in and night out.
We used to get scouting reports on certain guys, and you look at the scouting report and they say, well, you can take your right hand away, take your left hand away, push him this way, push him that way. On him, it's just like, good luck. Plus he had a will like no other player that I ever played against. Certain guys I can get to mentally, but him I could never get to mentally, and believe me, I tried my best. But, you know, he was that special player that you couldn't break his will. You know, if anything, he was taking them to another level.
I used to tell the guys, especially the young guys, this is what Mike want to do. He want to sit there and talk to you. Oh, you're having a great year, shaking your hand, man. Keep up the good work, and then he taught you with 48. When he gets ready to come up to you, and we in New York, we tell him, don't fucking talk to Michael Jordan. He's not your friend. He's gonna get in your head, and then after he done taught you, say, well, maybe you have a good game the next game. But we didn't allow our guys to talk to Michael before the game.
Tell us about your rivalry with the Knicks.
What rivalry?
That rivalry, man, I'm telling you, boy, that was a real rivalry.
Anybody that was trying to take something from us, that's a rivalry.
He's followed up Jordan with the recovery, and Jordan is fouled.
And this season it escalated when Phil Jackson said, I think they're too old. They've got Patrick, who's what, 30? They're players with a lot of habits, an accumulation of personal failure.
That's Phil Jackson's opinion. That shows what type of person he is. Instead of being a man and just coaching his team, he's worried about us, how old we are, and what we do, and what, you know. If you're seriously confident, like I am, then you just go in and play against the team. You don't have to give them insults and all kind of your verbal descriptions of them. You know, you just go in and play.
As a professional, one for the other, you kind of like to take care of them. And so as a former player coach, now at this point where he's coaching, I think that he's got to be responsible for the level of which his team plays at.
He's also one of those coaches that does a great job in the press of trying to gain an edge. And, you know, it's all in the eyes of the beholder.
I do think that there's a style there that fringes or comes right to the edge of jeopardizing and intimidation and bullying and all those kind of things. And there's a line between where it's a game in basketball and then it's something else.
I don't care if the Bulls respect us. I really don't care. I could care less. But when they denigrate your effort and your hard work and your commitment to doing things that you take great pride in by trying to get somebody to see it another way to get an edge, then that's the ultimate lack of respect.
Do I hate him? Oh, yeah.
Pippen, oh, he is ripped by Starks, and that could be yes, it is a flagrant foul.
You will be able to tell how far that hate goes by his play on the court. For the flagrant foul that he made on me last season. Do he hate the Bulls or do he hate me?
Last year, with Xavier McDaniel setting the tone, the Knicks hammered Pippen. This year, Anthony Mason has drawn the assignment a good portion of the time, but just this week, Bulls assistant coach Jim Clemens said Mason can't stop Scottie Pippen. If they put Mason on Scottie and the referees legitimately call the game, it won't happen.
I don't think Scottie Pippen needs to have Jimmy Clemens begging anybody so he can get a performance.
That's his psych. That's what he has to use instead of getting on the court itself. He want to talk about the game. So Scottie Pippen got to check me like I got to check him. We'll see who gets to who.
Buckle up and put all the women and children out the room and get ready.
I've always liked Madison Square Garden, even when I was in college, when we played St. John's or some of the games that we played. It's always been an area or a place where basketball enthusiasts could notice a fake basketball player. If you're a real basketball player, they honor that. They show the respect for that. If you just a hype, you can't fool them, and they'll see it. And that, it's like stepping on a stage with an act, and people can see that it's an act, or they can see that if it's talent. So that's the way I've always perceived.
Van Gundy had said that Jordan uses friendships and stature to con some of his opponents.
You watch him game in and game out. He saddles up next to guys, he smiles at us, and then goes out there and kicks their ass, and they hug him after the game. Like that was some great thing that he got 45 on them. So I don't understand it.
He's a leader, he's a self-motivator, and he tried to motivate his team. Unfortunately,
when you hear certain things like that, you put them in your memory bank and you use them whenever you feel you need to. And so I hadn't really forgotten it.
Did you take it personally when Van Gundy called you a con man?
Yes, it rubbed me the wrong way then, and if I hear it now, it still rubs me the wrong way because that was never my intent. I was good friends with Oak. I was good friends with Patrick. But I'm not trying to con them to play a different style to play against me. I mean, that to me is like attacking my basketball skills as a sense of saying, only way you win is you make these guys think that you like them. No, I actually do like them. Oakley almost tried to take my head off every time he played, and then we go to dinner afterwards. Right. He played me no different than if he was playing me if I did go to dinner or I didn't go to dinner. I felt like that was inappropriate for him to say something like that.
After all Van Gundy had said, Michael heard all the talk. Long jumper. He won, and he goes, yes! And he looks at Van Gundy.
Jordan with 49. Jordan now has 51. And he is screaming at Jeff Van Gundy.
And he's still, he was not going to pass that ball.
I noticed on the last basket, you took a hard look at the Knicks bench.
I did. He'd read the paper and saw the comments was in the paper. And
what did he say to you guys after the game?
No, he was just mentioning that he'd read the thing and talking about how Van Gundy said he was a con man and using his friendships on the court to take advantage of other players on other teams. But Michael likes that. He likes challenges. He likes guys to get on it because it forces him and makes him, drives him to be a better player.
He's the only one that I can remember that was able to score that many points against us. So it was, you give homage to MJ.
Whenever you get a chance to play against someone like Michael Jordan, for me personally, the one-on-one matchups was fun to me because the level of competition, that he brought every single night, you had to raise your game up. And so for me, I'm a very competitive person, as everybody know. And obviously he was the ultimate competitor to play against.
Number 4 quarter. Starks. Yes. He's looking around. He gets picked off. No help comes, and Starks goes. Oh, do anything about it.
Like I said, being a competitor, he liked guys to compete hard and play hard against them. You know what I mean? And my mentality was just to go out there on the court and just make him work for every single thing that he got out there. I never go out there thinking that I was going to stop him. That'd be foolish.
Michael and I are very good friends. Matter of fact, he's the one who got me into coaching. He started me coaching by giving me an opportunity here with the Wizards. But back then, we have been knowing each other from high school. But we had some remarkable battles, some great battles. And the crazy thing is, he talked so much trash that even today he lets me know that I was never able to beat his team. It's like the only time you beat the Bulls was the year that I retired. But you know, we had some great battles, and you know, it's funny because I believe that we had some very good teams, and if it wasn't for him and his team, I might have been able to possibly have an opportunity to win one, maybe two rings. But he was so dominant and such a great competitor that it wasn't in the cards for me.
I was openly saying we can't go to lunch and can't go to dinner because Pat doesn't believe in fraternizing between the two of us. And this guy hit me harder than anybody else in the league, and he was my best friend. Patrick Ewing, we had the same age, we came out the same time, but we couldn't go to lunch. Why is this? You think I'm gonna play against Patrick any different than I play against anybody else? No.
The whole thing with Jeff is you got the tension, you got your history, you got the physicality.
At the time, the Knicks and the Bulls were big rivals, and I didn't have time to think about and appreciate that you're playing against, you know, probably the best player to ever play.
Looks for Ewing. There's the bump from Ron Harper.
And Ewing is going to the bench. Oh, he's going after someone's making some sort of comment over there.